Hey everyone, MacDowin here. Today we are looking at the deluxe 2-pack Deo and Siona from Hasbro's Fortnite Victory Royale 6-inch series. Each figure comes with 4 accessories, and I found this in store at Target for a whopping $47.99. That's a lot of money. I don't know if or when the set will be available at other retailers. I will toss the barcode up on the screen right now for those who want to see it. The box looks like double-wide versions of the other single boxes, and I really do like how they've created new art for these packages instead of just reusing the in-game artwork. As far as heights are concerned, Deo stands about 6.5 inches tall, whereas Siona stands about 6 inches tall. How do they stack up with other action figures? Well, here we have Deadpool and Spider-Woman from Marvel Legends. Then next, we will bring in Mandalorian and Bo-Katan from the Black series. Then our next 2 subjects from G.I. Joe Classified will be Cobra Trooper and the Snake Eyes movie version of Scarlet. And then finally, from Jazzware's Fortnite series, we have Havoc and Ghoul Trooper. And that's kind of how they all stack up. Actually, I'm lying. I have one more. From Valaverse's Action Force, we have Steel Brigade, and that's about how tall they are next to that figure. Before we get into looking at articulation and accessories, one thing I do want to point out that if you want to put on their helmets, you do have to remove their heads, just like so. You can pop his off pretty easily, attach his helmet like so, and then probably going to be a little bit difficult is maybe getting this head back on. The reason is the neck kind of wobbles around up in here, and so does the ball joint inside that neck. So it might take you a couple tries to be able to push that on. And my positioning here, we'll have to leave him headless for the moment. It's not working so well because I have to reach around the camera, but we'll pop hers on here. She was a little bit easier to reattach than he is. Go ahead and try it one more time. His neck is super wobbly. So we're going to go kind of sideways. So what I do is I push that ball joint down there, set her off to the side. Move that ball joint kind of down there. Try to make sure the neck is as back as far as possible, and then try to push it down towards the back like that. Then you can get it in. The next portion of the helmet is attaching kind of, well, that, I don't know what that did. May have snapped something there. There, getting that in. So then the next portion of the helmet is this right here. And the problem with him is his head sits so high and he's got this little top knot thing going on here. So the best way I've discovered is to tuck the helmet. There's these little notches in the helmet, and they go into little slots on the base of the helmet. I should say the glass portion. Best way I figured is to hook it into the back first, and then ease it down into these other slots as I go. And then you can get him in that helmet. She seemed to be a little bit easier. You have to kind of look at the helmet. There's a positioning in how it goes. So we'll tuck this here into the back, slide that on one side. They didn't make this super easy, but it can be done. So hers is a little bit more difficult to pop into place. It seems like it's kind of loose. I wish they would have had a little bit deeper tabs, a little bit longer tabs. That might have been better. You know what else would have been better? If I line this up correctly. Lining things up correctly is always a good idea. Getting in that tab, getting in that one, and getting in there, and it's still kind of, well, loose. It didn't really stick. It's stuck in the sides, maybe, kind of, sort of. That actually holds a little bit better. I got it pushed in. So there is a little bit of info on the helmet. Following this, we're not going to be putting the helmets back on. I've actually ended up deciding to keep the lower portion of the helmets on. Deo has about 34 points of articulation. He has a few limitations, and I won't go through all of the articulation. here, because it's pretty standard. He's a lot like Midas Rex in that there's no ab crunch. He just kind of bends around. He bends really far back and surprisingly not quite as far forward. The limitations to this figure are these straps here at the waist. He has this little separate belt that is around his waist. It's not exactly directly connected to the waist portion, but these little straps do hinder articulation and movement. If you want him to do the splits, he could do the splits that far. However, if you want him to sit, that's about it. Because these are pretty tight straps, you could really push it and really pull it. But, you know, I don't know to what extent you can stretch these straps to where they're going to not pull out. And you don't want to rip and break the figure. So my figure, he's not going to sit. You're not going to get this guy in a vehicle. You're not going to get him sitting. He's going to be forever standing on your shelf or just being straight. Along with that, his thigh rotations, he's got good thigh rotations. The problem is, again, the straps. They can only go so far, if you can see that, and that stinks. You know, why have all this articulation and then limit it? I would much rather this belt have been built into the mold. Maybe it's so they can reuse it for some other figure in the future. I don't know. I'd much rather have had the straps molded on and broken than have this lack of articulation. It stinks. You know, put the articulation in and let us use it. Let us use it. Otherwise, it's a pinless figure in the elbows, in the knees. Yeah, he has all the standard points of articulation. It's pretty cool how much he can lean forward and back. He's really mobile up here, and his head is really wobbly. I shouldn't say that's not a negative. It just means you can really move it around. Other than that, he can articulate and pose and move around pretty well. He's got the little rotation or the side to side in the ankles, and he does have a boot cut right below this pouch, so you can rotate just above the ankles. It's a really pretty good articulate figure. He does come with the Shooting Starstaff harvesting tool, and this is a big one, and it can not peg in, but slide into his hand pretty easily, right, like that, so he can hold his harvesting tool like that. Then he comes with the Lunar Sim back bling. You can see that right there, and this pegs onto his back really pretty good, just like so. And then he's got one other item, a submachine gun. That looks just like that. And also can slide into his hand pretty easily. It's got the trigger finger, so he can hold that up. And his wrists do move up and down, so you can do some sort of a up and down pose for that submachine gun. Then beyond that, the only other thing he comes with that you've already seen, maybe if you can stand, with the gear on, he kind of is front and back heavy. The only other piece he comes with is the helmet that fits over his head just like that. Now we will move on to Siona, who I've got a couple issues with her as well. She's got about 27 points of articulation. She's not as standard as some of the other Fortnite female action figures. She's got pinless joints, but up here in the elbows, she only has just one bend there, as opposed to the double pinless elbows. She also does not have a waist rotation. She has a upper torso wiggle, but there is nothing here at the waist, and that's unfortunate. It's really cool. These straps are actually directly connected to this waist section, not attached to the legs, so there is no hindrance there. If you want her to sit, my figure is kind of tight there. She can, just based off the mold, can actually sit a whole lot better than he can. Has thigh rotations, double pinless knees. She's got no boot cut rotation down here, so the only rotation on the legs is the thigh and the little pivot down here at the ankle. So she, I would actually say, has less articulation and is probably not as posable as he is. One thing I've noticed while filming, and I'll point this out real quick, especially with her, And I'm not going to be able to zoom in. I've got the wrong lens. But if you notice the orange feet, be careful with these, because I'm noticing a lot of orange marks getting left down here on my white background. And I'm even noticing that, like, right here, I wish I had a better lens, but I think you can kind of see there's a light color. That's where some of the orange has rubbed off already. And over here, there's a bit of a dark area. That's some more rubbing of this orange. So I'm noticing that the orange on the shoes kind of rubbing off if you're a little bit too rough and too bumpy on a white surface. It's kind of weird. So for harvesting tools, she comes with dual harvesting tools. I've got them right here. The Vizion, I think they're called Vizion Strikers, dual harvesting tools. Now, there's something I don't like about these, and the fact, look at, they are super, super bendy. The only problem is because she's got such a tight hand. So to slide these in, you're going to have to really kind of pry the hands open and then shove those in like that. She can hold them well, but you're just going to have to understand that this is softer rubber and she's got stronger hands or stronger fingers. He just can't stand anymore. And she looks cool holding them, I got to say. I mean, she looks great. And I think these look great too. Her back bling is the Mini Moon, which is this. It's really cool. It's very textured, very crater-like. And we'll just just peg right onto her back like that. I always find these big round back bling to be kind of funny for these figures. Just it's a Fortnite thing that I just find that these things that just stick out really crazy far, they're just funny to me. She also comes with an assault rifle, and that will go in the hand pretty easily once you pull that out and scrape it up a little bit, slide it in her hand, hook it right there. And these are also kind of rubbery in the front and in the back here, but she holds it well. She holds the gun, the assault rifle, well. Don't mess with me. The last item she comes with is this hat. Is the glass portion of the helmet, which takes a little bit of use to. It takes a little bit of practice to get that thing on there. Other than that, yeah, these are the figures, and I do think they are really pretty cool. Let's take these off. They kind of look silly just sitting there. But yeah, these are the two figures, Deo and Siona. Overall, I'm really happy to have been able to find this set. I think the 2-pack idea is awesome, and maybe Hasbro will release some alter ego sets in the future. I just think that would be really great. I like the Deo figure a lot more as he has better articulation. Even with the hindrance of these straps, the articulation is there. It's really disappointing that Siona does not have this waist articulation right there, and I think that hinders the posability of the figure. I've been buying more Marvel Legends figures lately and have noticed that quite a few of those female figures don't have waist articulation. And I sure hope that the Fortnite team does not continue down that road. We have had some really great Fortnite female figures thus far from Hasbro, and I really want to see more of that. Not every figure can be exceptional, but you know, they all can be really pretty good. Now anyway, now it's your turn. What do you think about these figures? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you have forgotten what figures we can expect to see in 2022 from Hasbro, then click on the video in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.